Okay, well, hello everyone. Happy Monday. It's good to be back with you. Hope you had a good weekend. As promised, we have some more episodes here for you this week. And joining me today from the Save the Music Foundation is Chiho Feindler. She is Senior Director of Programs and Policy, correct?
Correct, and it's
Correct.
actually Feindler.
Feindler, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Weird German name.
I'm sorry. I should
No
know as
worries.
somebody who has a strange last name. Sorry about that. Okay,
No
so
worries.
Chiho, thank you for joining us. So you're with the Save the Music Foundation. A lot of people may have known it as the VH1 Save the Music Foundation, but it's been renamed a little bit as the Save the Music Foundation. Kind of give us the overview of what that is for folks that don't know.
Of course, so Save the Music Foundation, as an artist formerly known as the VH1 Save the Music Foundation, is a not-for-profit organization that donates instruments to public schools nationwide. Our mission is to help students, schools, and communities reach their full potential through the power of making music. And we have been doing this for the last 23 years. Once it was started out as a VH1 Network's Public Affairs Initiative, but now it's really on 501c3 for the last 13 years. And really in our normal days, and right now, usually we're, talking to schools, going through the application process of donating instruments. And we do this because we really pride ourselves as an advocacy organization. In order to receive our grants of instruments, it could be a band instrument, string instruments, general music instruments, as well as the music technology equipment. And also the piano package is that the school must have a certified music teacher hired by the district and who is teaching during the school day in a dedicated classroom. So it's sort of a 3 pillars of doing the right music education in the public school system. Obviously, with the school closure, the building is closed, but the music education, we believe, that hasn't stopped. So yeah, we're still kind of doing our work, our part in that work.
And so you're calling in from your home in New Jersey, normally in New York City, where,
Yes.
so you're just a few miles outside of there. But one of the things that you are and your colleagues are continuing to do is the great work that I think sets the Save the Music Foundation apart is it's not that you just say, hey, here's some stuff, go forth and teach. You really stay in communication with these folks and make sure that their programs survive. And I think you're kind of maybe ramping that up or doing a little bit extra right now during this pandemic. I'm curious what you're hearing from your grantee schools and what those conversations are like.
Yeah, so to your point, thank you for acknowledging that. We've actually, on March 13th, the Friday the 13th, to many of us in a literal way where school started closing, we basically said, let's put together a really quick resource guide that is available online and then send it out to everyone. So we did that on 13th in the afternoon as the schools are announcing left and right the school closure for maybe 2 weeks at a time at the time, but knowing that we needed to get information out to of course our grantees, but really through social media that was shared. I think in the first couple of hours, just like 900 of them was shared like that. And our website has been www.savethemusic.org. More than half of the traffic is really in the resource guide. So we are very proud that it's been really being useful to many of the teachers. And then in addition to that, we really take a pride of the relationship that we have with the teachers, administrators nationwide. So we started doing a lot of virtual online like this Zoom call with a bunch of teachers. And at first couple of weeks, it was really the sharing session where this one teacher can say, hi, I teach X, Y, and Z school district, a band program. And because my district is, has a lack of devices and my kids don't have Wi-Fi at home, so I can only reach 25% of my class right now. And I'm calling them, I'm texting them, all of that stuff. And then next teacher going like, hi, I'm on the same boat. I really like, wow, like I'm making things up as I go, but you are too? Oh, wow. Like, okay, so we're doing okay, right? Like a little bit of like check in and no, we're doing our absolute best, even though it's a 25% return of the login, but it's okay. And sort of kind of creating that community then quickly became a learning community as again time goes, that many schools, districts in the states, right, like just Friday New York State, just today, a few minutes ago, the state of New Jersey just declared that the schools are not coming back till the end of the school year, Pennsylvania as well. So like now what do we have to do? So now became sort of a peer-to-peer learning opportunity. So if there's a teacher in our district who did ever so famous virtual choir, and then he kind of went in and said, folks, like, I've never done this before, I tried to do this, it took me 80 hours to do 3-minute song, and it's okay, you don't need to be doing this, but
Right.
if you want to do it, here's the resources that I learned to do. So that kind of stuff. We also convened the district directors, arts directors. So now we kind of logged in about 32 different districts, over a couple hundred teachers and the administrators. And again, for that conversation, really like the policy, what do we want to make this department to become full? Hopefully the schools are coming back, but it could be a new normal. And really, again, core learning opportunity, and say, oh, you're doing this way, oh, you're doing that way. And we have this luxury, really, a privilege of having the districts of all sorts of size and the locations. The common thread is that many of them are either urban or rural. So most, Title I. So we have New York City with 1.1 million students, and we have LA with 900 students. We have Chicago Public with 600 students. We have Miami-Dade, that's 450 students. That's the top 4 largest school districts in the country. And we also have some of the smaller districts, like Zion, Illinois, with the 6 schools. But again, same situation, the lack of devices,
Right.
the technology divide, the literacy on all of that stuff as well. And the common storm that we're going through, which is this COVID-19. So it's been really interesting. But again, what we just keep hearing is that we're doing our best. We're
Right.
still learning as educators and administrators. What can we do more?
And I think that's so important for these educators to communicate in some way that's like, it's okay. It's okay because none of us have figured this out. None of us have been through this. And especially when you're talking Title I schools, which is mainly what you're dealing with, I think that's really important, the work that you're doing, number one, to connect them. But then I think it helps you all learn and say, okay, so how do we provide more resources to the field going forward?
Yeah, absolutely. So, NAFME and NAM Foundation, put together Instrument Hygiene. I was very fortunate to have Lynn Tuttle, your previous guest, in our guest to be our call. And she kind of had we were talking about, so we're doing the Instrument Hygiene thing. What do you think? And the administrator saying, like, many of my kids share instruments. What do we do? So that was a topic, some stuff that I may not have thought about.
Sure.
Because, personally speaking, well, my daughter is only first grade, but, if she chooses to play instruments, I'm in the place of I can purchase instrument for her or rent the instrument for her, right?
Right.
So even though I've been doing this over 10 years, it's just time like this, I just don't think about some of it.
Sure.
So there's a lot of learning opportunities and really co-sharing and just thinking about, oh, wow, especially now with kind of a magic 8 ball of the new school year, is that going to be a limit in the classroom size, social distancing, all of that stuff. So, just really preparing ourselves and really thinking out of the box, which I like to think all of the music educators are very good at doing, but we now more than ever. And also knowing that then as a foundation, what can we do to support those teachers? Is this more of a virtual, beefing up the PD opportunity for the virtual things? Is that more of the putting the hygiene kits in the grant package? I'm not saying that we're going to do this, but again, just really learning and what is going to be helpful to the teachers and the districts.
Yeah, so I mean, that's great. That feedback is helping you plan ahead and kind of take what you're getting of the crystal ball of the conversations, and then how do you react? I think that's so important. So talk a little bit about the resources, if you would, that are available on the website. So because these are not just for grantees, these are for anyone out there who might find these of value.
So, we are certainly not an expert of creating resources, but we happen to know many of folks who are. So it was just really incredible to see all those even for-profit entities like Smart Music, to Music First, to Quaver, to Noteflight, everybody really kind of, on the 13th or even before that, saying that we're going to just put this subscription out and open, unlocking everything. Here it is. So we really just wanted to be the sending those great resources out to everyone. So, it's been great. And then just the feedback that we've been getting from our teachers is that anything that's of course free, and also that you can use this device at home, has been very helpful to many of our constituents, at least. And then just for the teachers and administrators to even get to know some of the staff who may have been on the platform for a long time, but times like this, they were just discovering, oh wow, Music First has these many things. Oh wow, the Noteflight can do these things, or even Flipgrid, kind of incorporating that to the Google Chrome Music Lab, which is a free to many of the Chromebooks, which happen to be many of the devices that were sent home with the students, especially the older students. So just making music Soundtrap, which is another online music making things that you can access through the phone. So especially for the high school students who do have a smartphone at home that of their own, that they can make it. We, as a Save the Music, even kind of created a Save the Music classroom on the Smart Music Soundtrap to make our version of music making. It's sort of, so we are also learning, because we don't do this, and we do have a staff members who are formerly music teachers, but they didn't do the virtual teaching when they were teaching, as in many of us, right? So, or all of us, if not. So it's a lot of learning opportunity for all of us, including ourselves.
Right. And we'll link to the website for sure, because we want folks to check that out. There might be some things you've seen, some things that you haven't seen. And so one thing before we close, tomorrow's Giving Tuesday. So I would certainly encourage people to consider Save the Music as they do that. I presume that there'll be some stuff on your social media of how to do that, I'm guessing. Okay.
We are pushing out so much. And then of course, Giving Tuesday, and it's so timely that it's a Teacher Appreciation Week as well.
Absolutely.
So we really appreciate everything that teachers do. And if we can plug that, our donation to us, for those of you who are able to, are just going to help that much more to the teachers across the country. So.
Right. And so check the website out. You can see the great work that they do. They really do some fantastic stuff. So Chiho, thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate you taking the time. And folks, you can join us on Thursday when we're going to speak with Dr. Jonathan Helmick from Slippery Rock University. And this is going to be really interesting, because we're going to hear how he navigated teaching his classes at the university level online for the past month or so. So it's finals week this week, so we will talk to him kind of right after finals end. That's on Thursday. Thank you all for joining us. We'll see you next time.